Hello, Chevra, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. Begashmi is physically healthy and strong. Today, the entire Chabad Lubavitch community worldwide received the sad news that Rabbi Leibel Groner, one of the few people on this planet Earth who were part of the Rebbe's inner circle secretariat, who were by the Rebbe's side throughout all the years serving the Rebbe, and he passed away, and it's very sad. So somebody once told me a line once: if you ain't angry, it's because you ain't paying attention. Right now, we really, every single person in the Chabad Lubavitch community feels the pain, because Rabbi Groner, one way or another, was connected to everyone. So now we're really screaming, Daloi Golus, end the Golus right now. As usual, we'll say a verse, a prayer from the Rebbe's new kapitel Kuf Yutes, which will teach us a very important, relevant, and profound lesson for the holiday of Pesach. Now it's Erev Pesach, 3-4 hours away from Lichbenchen. And the pasuk is ואתהלכה ברחבה כי פיקודך דרשתי, which means ואתהלכה ברחבה, I will walk in spacious paths, for I seek your precepts. So this verse is brought down in Teres Achsidis a lot about a manner of serving Hashem in a way of ואתהלכה ברחבה. You go in a broad way, in an expansive way. Like in English, there's the expression, go big or go home. You're not thinking millions anymore, you're thinking billions, in a good way, spiritually. That's what it means, ואתהלכה ברחבה. You have Jewish pride, גאון Ya'akov. You say your Jewish name in the street and to everyone. And you wear your tzitzis outside because you're proud of it. You have a pushka in your office. And when someone comes to do a business deal, you say, first let's do a mitzvah, a kind deed, a commandment of God. Here, let's give charity. That's what it means to serve Hashem in the way of ואתהלכה ברחבה. What does it have to do with Passover? Passover is the season of freedom, the holiday of liberation, Zman Cheruseinu. So our sages tell us that there are 4 verses that are connected to redemption. Vytzesi, Vytzalti, Vigaalti, Vilakachti. Means I will, with the verses translated, means I will take you out, I will rescue you, I will redeem you, and I will take you by the hand. And I took you out. So I heard a word once in the name of the Kotzke, which I think is a fantastic word. And he says, why is the first verse, the first word, term, when it talks about redemption, we start והוצאתי אתכם, the verse is והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. Why is that the first one? Because it all starts with the mind. What does the verse mean? We could translate it to mean not that I will take you out of the servitude, oppression of the Egyptians. But והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מלושן סבלונות. How does redemption begin? By going away from slave mentality, from an exile mentality, from a golus mentality. And that's what it means. והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. I will take you out of your tolerance for exile. You should begin by feeling as a free person inside, and when you look at the outside world and you see your external circumstances, one of exile, you have to rage against the exile. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Don't make peace with a world that's full of oppression and downtrodden and people that use their power in abusive ways. And that's what it means. Have a concept, a perception, how it's meant to be. And that's how it starts. The Rebbe, in a Farbrengen of 11 of Nisan 1976, spoke something so interesting that's so relevant to our circumstances now, where we are locked up, isolated in our homes. Some could argue and say But that's not freedom. How are we celebrating the holiday of freedom when we can't walk around? We're locked up. So in 1976, the world's richest man, Howard Hughes, passed away in April 1976. And the Rebbe spoke a talk, so interesting. Like, what is the lesson? And this was the lesson, he said, for the upcoming holiday, which was a couple of days later. Here he said, you see, you could have a person who's a billionaire, which you'd think that a billionaire has all the money in the world, could do whatever he wants, he should be a free man. And the Rebbe said, no. He was a slave to his addictions. He was paranoid. In the end, he died of malnutrition. He was scared of a shadow. He couldn't move because he was always thinking somebody's plotting to kill him or to kidnap him, or there's nobody that's his friend. The only reason why anybody's his friend is because they want something from him, and so on and so forth. So here the Rebbe said, you could have a person who you would think that his physical conditions and circumstances and situation should make him be the freest person in the world. And actually, he was the biggest slave. And the Rebbe said a simple child and a pauper was more free than Howard Hughes. And this is what the Rebbe tells us in the lesson. When it comes to Chag, Zman Cheruseinu, even though we're in exile, and even though things might not be going for us too well in life, as now we're locked up, we're all isolated, still, it begins in the mind. If you have a mindset, an achiever mentality, a striver mentality, then you're a free man. And this also we can learn from the Pasuk. Why is it ואתהלכה ברחבה? How is it that you grow in such a broad way? Because because you're seeking God. Wherever you go, you try to connect with divinity, with infinity. So just because you're seeking, you already have this freedom. You already have this personal liberty and happiness. Because you're not stifled by the grinding, limiting world and your external circumstances. And that's also a verse that says, Yishmach leiv, מבקשי Hashem. Yishmach leiv, my heart rejoices. I'm full of joy. Why? Because I'm from the מבקשי Hashem. I'm from the seekers. I'm from the searchers. Just for seeking and searching spirituality, without even reaching there, just because you're on the journey, you're full of joy, and that will give you great levels of happiness. I'll just finish with a very, very powerful word that I heard from someone. I went to Russia in 1986, and I was there, and I was with the Jewish refuseniks. We were teaching Torah underground, and I met one of the biggest activists of Chabad Lubavitch, and his name was Rabbi Grishe Rosenstein. And we were once walking along the street, and he was talking about the Russian government, and he says to me, you know, they hate me. You know why they hate me? Because they want me to feel intimidated. But I don't. I have the look, this is the way he said it, I have the look of a free man, a ben Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. He says, I walk with a spring to my step, full of pride, because I'm a son of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And this is what bothers them. They want me to walk along the streets cowering and looking intimidated, etc. So I want to wish you a Chag Kosher V'Sameach. Hopefully, by the time you watch this video, we're all in Yerushalayim Mirakodesh with Mashiach Tzidkenu and having the ultimate Zman Cheruseinu, Cherus Amiti. We become free from all anxiety, all tension, all worries. Everything is beautiful. Begashmis Beruchnis with the Gula Amitis Vashlema now. Broadcasting from my home, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarich, in Melbourne, your man in Melbourne.